How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good.
Good. Good to see you. Sounds like, well, we've got a few of you here. And Moriah, you'll just have to keep an eye out for when other people get into the waiting room.
Yep.
Let them in. And then let's have Moriah share her screen with Kevin's piece put up.
Okay.
And then go ahead and play through some of this, Moriah. And I think what we'll do, for the sake of time, now we could go back, if we have extra time, we could certainly go back and do some more stuff. But for the sake of time, I don't necessarily know if we need to play through every single note. I think we more need to hear sections that display a variety of techniques so we can kind of cover all the different things going on. And then we can talk about it after that.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start this one. And sorry.
Let's go ahead and stop there for a second, Moriah.
Yep, I think I've got some people I need to let in.
Okay.
Okay.
So go up to the place where you had that high, or I should say that low octave
Okay.
at the top of the second page. Okay, yeah. So go ahead and play from measure 16 again.
Okay. Hang on, I think I keep on having people come in. All right.
Okay, so what I wanted to point out there, that works perfectly fine. Some of you guys that take lessons from me have heard me commenting on the really low register of the harp. And as you may have heard, the A flat that is at the bottom of the bass clef staff, that worked really well, but the octave below that A flat is where it starts to get really rumbly and hard to distinguish. And so it's not that you can't use that, but you shouldn't expect that note to be, or that register to be as clear as it would be on the piano or something like that. Obviously you sink your fingers into the piano keys and you get a nice booming sound, but on the harp, it's kind of a dull, indistinguishable sound when you get too low. Other than that, all that stuff worked great. Was that what you had in mind, Kevin?
Yes.
And no problems with that, right, Moriah?
Up to that point, no. At measure 35, that section gets a little bit wonky on the harp.
Yep. I think it's possible that Kevin and his composition teacher had a little discussion about that one yesterday, didn't they, Kevin?
Okay.
Go ahead and try that for him.
All right, so I'll have to take it a little slower, and you'll notice I have some different fingerings than probably what you were expecting. So.
Okay, let's stop there.
Okay.
So we're getting some buzzing on the repeated notes, right?
Yep.
And no, repeated notes like that on the harp, when you imagine that she has to go and pluck every time, it's not like pressing buttons on the piano. The repeated notes get tricky to get a really nice sound. And then going back up to that other section, it's not that she couldn't play that, but you guys could hear how it kind of got awkward, and she just didn't sound her best doing that stuff at section 35.
Most of it's the really large intervals between almost every pitch. So I'm having to use a lot of hand crossing every 2 notes or so, sometimes 3. And so I could probably make it work, but let's just say it would be a big challenge that I'd have to spend a lot more time on it than I think you would want a performer to have to spend.
Well, and you can tell it just, the instrument doesn't like to do it as much. She doesn't sound like as good of a harpist when she's playing that, which is another way of saying it's not very idiomatic to the instrument. Yeah. Now go down to the bottom of the score. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. I think we heard the different styles in this piece, Kevin. There's a lot of it that's going to work great. And then there's a few things that can be tweaked and be more idiomatic. Okay. This is whose piece?
Jonas.
Jonas. Is Jonas here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
All right. So before I even start playing this one, I played through it a little bit last night, and right off the bat, it looks and feels like it's supposed to be in 3/4 instead of 6/8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be hugely helpful to have it in 3/4.
Okay. And is that about what you're looking for from that section, Jonas?
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be faster than that?
At which part? In the beginning?
Uh-huh.
I think that's about it. I think it might be a little faster though, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that actually works pretty well. I had to do some hand, my left hand had to take over some of the right hand. When you have, like right here, there are 5 notes going down. And as I mentioned before, I can only use
Yeah.
4 fingers in one hand. So I would switch out, but that worked okay because of what you had going on the left hand. I think everything else in all of this works really well. There was nothing crazy. So right in here, you start throwing in accidentals, and we mentioned before doing pedals, and I'm just going to show you really quick what I would do for that. So right underneath and slightly before the beat, you would just put an E, and you'd put the symbol for a natural, but I don't have that in a PDF, so I'm just putting the E natural.
Yep.
And then in the very next measure, you have an E flat. Now, because I'm using pedals, when I change my E pedal, every single E is changed to an E natural. So you immediately have to do an E flat again for me. And then again, in the next measure, you'd have to do the E natural. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I have to actually physically change the pedal every time it goes to an accidental and then back again. Okay, and that's helpful for the others as well. So that's pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions on that one, Jonas?
No.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, this one is Mari, I think. Okay. And I didn't get a chance to actually read through this one, but I didn't see anything that looked terrible, so we'll give it a try here. Whoops. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so just a short little one. There's really nothing in there that doesn't work at all. The section at measure 8 to 10 is a little bit odd because of the downward roll of the chord. The upward roll works a little bit better. Do you want to hear what that would sound like?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start just the measure before 8. Sorry. Yeah, that was right. Okay, what do you think of that versus the downward?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay. The rolled chords definitely work a little better going up. The downward arpeggios work well, but the rolled chord goes a little quicker and sounds a little bit better when it's going up. So.
Okay.
Any questions on yours?
No, thank you.
Very straightforward. It works well. Okay. Here we have Landon. That one's really,
Isn't it great?
yeah, that one works very well. The one thing I would say, we talked about the accidentals. I sent you the email a couple days ago. The pedal markings generally are going to go underneath the staff. There are a few harpists that like it on
Okay.
top, but as a general rule, underneath is where you're going to want to put them. And I wrote D with the spelled out word natural because I don't have the ability to do that on a PDF. So you can just use the natural sign for that. But yeah, that all works very well. Do you have any questions, Landon?
No,
Okay.
Is this the last piece?
thanks.
Here.
Is there anybody on the call that hasn't had their piece done yet?
Yes.
Okay, just a second, Josiah, let me pull it up.
I'm sorry I forgot to attach it last night.
That's okay, it happens. Here it is. Okay, so I haven't gotten a chance to look through this one yet, so pardon the sight reading, but give me just a second here. All right. Sorry, hang on. I'm getting lost here a little bit, just a second. There we go. Okay. so you could tell I was sight reading, but most of that works really, really well. Did you like how that sounded, Josiah?
Yes. It sounded very good.
Thank you. So just a couple of little things. With the rolled chords, is this with another instrument? I'm assuming.
Yes.
What am I playing along with on this one?
Violin, cello, and a little bit of percussion with like a cymbal.
Okay, great. So the one-handed rolled chords work fine, but if you want a slightly more full sound, you can add in the left hand, and you can either do a full chord or just a 3-note chord. But you can see how by adding in the left hand to fill out the chord more, it really makes it a little bit fatter.
Okay.
Just gives it a nice full sound. I feel like just the right hand, it's a little empty. So adding in some left hand underneath. When you do, obviously with whole notes, you can't change stem directions or anything when you're doing a whole big chord like that. But down here where you have, let's see, like a chord in measure 45, the last beat of 45. I would write that as if it was for 2 hands. So some stems down, some stems up. It's a lot easier for a harpist to read if you have stems going opposite directions. So just a couple things like that. And then I would, yes, definitely try to fill out the chords a little bit if you like that sound. So any questions?
Can you go back to Landon's piece for a second?
Yeah, give me a second.
There wasn't any problem with it, Landon, but I wanted to show you guys a couple things that I'm not seeing anybody really doing yet, but some things that could make your harp writing more full and beautiful and interesting.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Can you pull up Landon's piece?
I did. Is this one's it?
Oh, this is Landon's piece?
Yep.
Okay. Go up.
It looks like you're still on Josiah's.
Yeah, I think this is still Josiah's piece.
Okay, give me just a second.
Also, hi, Moriah.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How's being a mom?
It's great. It's wonderful. She's adorable.
Yeah, we've gotten to hang out on Zoom a couple times.
Great, yeah.
Okay. Go down the page a little bit. Okay, right there. Now I'm looking at measure 44, and I want you to just try something. Could you come up with a harmonic to play in place of the D that's in measure 44 in the right hand?
Okay, I'll start in 43.
And I want you guys just to hear how you can have a downbeat like you have in 44, but then let something like a harmonic ring after the fact, and it opens up different registers, and it's really a nice change of timbre as well. Can you get a higher one?
Yeah.
Right. So, I'm not even saying Landon wants that or needs that in this piece. I'm just saying that kind of place in any of your pieces where she has a chance to go up and get one of those high sounds just adds another dimension, and it's really pleasing. Go down the page a little bit more.
I was going to say something you could try is doing some harmonics in the left hand there if you didn't want the actual arpeggio. Doing some of the left hand with our harmonics is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, and Moriah, how about at measure 78?
Uh-huh.
Could you do a couple octaves worth of those arpeggios do it in 16th notes, just so we can hear a more full arpeggio sound?
Here, hang on.
Okay, so adding a little bit more in the way of arpeggios. A lot of you guys are pretty conservative with your 8th note arpeggios right now, and you can just get a lot more out of the harp when it comes to 16th notes and stuff. The other thing that I haven't seen anybody do is a glissando. And a nice way of thinking of a glissando is if you have 1 or 2 pickup beats into an important downbeat, it really helps just kind of open up the sound. It's sort of like the same effect as a suspended cymbal roll that goes into a downbeat to create drama. The harp can do that really well. And so if you have any places into a downbeat like that that are getting loud or dramatic, a glissando is a really great idea.
Yeah, definitely.
If anybody has anything else that you would like to try, feel free to do that. I actually have to duck out to another meeting here. And then Moriah, just go ahead and download the recording of this and I'll
Okay.
help upload it later.
Okay.
And I will see you guys in a little bit. Nice work on those pieces. This is going to be nice.
Good.
Thanks.
So would anybody like me to go back and play anything from their piece or try anything different?
I have one question. Did you get something from Sam Hansen?
I don't think I did.
Okay. I just know he was writing for harp, and I didn't know if he got you.
If he wants to send me the part at some point, I'd be happy to email him back with some ideas or anything like that.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Kevin.
So if we were to do harmonics, how would we notate that?
Oh, that's a great question. Let me, generally what you're going to do is just a little circle on top of the note. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. Okay, can you guys see this? You see how that's notated right there? I don't know if you can see that or not. I can hold it up again.
Yes. Yes, Mariah, we can see that.
Great. So it's just a little circle on top of the note. And if you're doing a chord, you would do all 3. You would do 3 little circles on top of the note.
And the harmonic notation gives them an octave higher than written? Is that correct?
Yes, that is generally correct. Some people like to write it where it sounds. But if you do that, you have to write in your music that that's what you're doing. But as a general rule, most harpists like it if you write it in the octave where it's going to be played rather than where it's going to sound.
Okay, so you don't use the diamond notation at all?
Not typically. That's generally an older way.
It's a violin thing.
Yes.
For false harmonics, so I thought I'd bring it up.
In the past, some harpists have done that, but as a general rule, we just like regular notes. Harpists really like it to be as easy as possible to read because sight reading, I would say harp is one of the most difficult instruments to sight read on. So as simple of notation as you can write it, in fact, kind of sometimes even ignoring the theoretical way of writing something, going with the simplest way of writing it is generally best for a harpist. So.
Okay, and I don't know if you ever talked about how you can do glissandos on the harp on chords by retuning notes to the same pitch. Did you talk about that on Monday? I can't remember.
I just briefly mentioned it, but I was thinking about talking about the fact that you can do basically a chord for your glissando rather than thinking of it as a scale. If it's a 4-note chord, so if you take some kind of 7 chord, I can generally eliminate pitches so that all I have left are the 4 notes of that chord. Sometimes there's an extra note, but usually I can get rid of most pitches so that all I have is those 4 notes.
Is there a list somewhere of the chords that work on the harp?
You know what? I think I do have something. I will.
That would be terrific to have.
Yeah, I will. I don't think I have it online. I have hard copy, but what I'll do is I'll take a picture of it and maybe I can send it to you, Sarah, and you can.
And I'll put it in the Google Drive folder.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
This was terrific, Moriah. I think actually, Eric, would you agree that this needs to be a part of the online camp going forward? If we're doing this next year, we need to do this with all the performers.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Because this
is
was
good.
terrific. You did a lovely job playing, Moriah, and
you.
it's nice to see you.
It's good to see you too. It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah. So this is great. And you all got all your questions answered, correct? And now you know what a beautiful sound you are adding to your piece. I was a little disappointed I'm not getting very many piano pieces, but I'm so happy all these young composers are trying things out that they can't do on their own because so many of them play the piano. So it's just terrific.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
Good to see all of you, and I look forward to playing some more of your pieces and hopefully getting to try out some interesting stuff.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.